The former Home Affairs and National Security Minister Hermangild Francis has placed a damper on the recall of Mrs. Descartes-Pelius to head the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Francis, himself a former Deputy Commissioner of Police, was blunt in his assessment of the capabilities of the Commissioner to lead the force. The former National Security Minister compared the Commissioner, Descartes-Pelius, unfavorably to her predecessors, claiming she does not have the training and experience to serve as head of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force.
But with Miss Pelius, and I must tell you that Miss Pelius is a friend of mine. I respect her, I admire her, but Mrs. Pelius does not have the acumen of being a Commissioner of Police.
Francis painted a picture of neglect of the human resource development of the members of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. He says the imposition of the Leahy Law had far-reaching implications for the organization. He noted the highly regarded FBI training for leading members of the force has not been attended by a St. Lucian in a quarter of a century.
The last set of police officers who have gone to the FBI was Albert Frages and Hermangild Francis. That's 1998. Tim, other countries to become Commissioner of Police, or in fact the Assistant Commissioner of Police, it is a requisite requirement for you to do the FBI course. If you don't do the FBI course, you will not be promoted to Assistant Commissioner.
For 5 years, from 2016 to 2021, Hermangild Francis served as both Home Affairs and National Security Minister, an opportunity to introduce reform, secure support, and provide badly needed training for the men and women in uniform. But the then Minister Francis was widely criticized for being ineffective and roundly condemned for his manipulation of the leadership of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force and its impact on police morale and unity. He said he had plans for the reform of the police force, but provided no reason why those plans were not carried out.
In the succession plan for the police force, that's one of the things I wanted to do. I also wanted Mr. Mosheri to look at the manpower analysis for me.
In announcing the appointment of Mrs. Crusita Descartes-Pelius to the post of Commissioner of Police, Prime Minister and Minister for National Security Philip J. Pierre says her one-year term will be used to groom a cadre of promising police officers to take over the mantle of leadership of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Following endorsements from members of the force and a vote of confidence from the Prime Minister and presumably the Cabinet of Ministers, the stinging assessment of the former National Security Minister is a sharp reminder, if one were needed, for Mrs. Descartes-Pelius of the challenge that lies ahead. Stanley Lucian for the HCS News Force.